everyone, I'm your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here is your daily forecast for the day of Sunday, July 1st, 2018. Now before I get started, I did just want to mention one thing. I'm still doing my July 2018 webinar. I did just postpone it to tomorrow. Today, it's going to be today, Sunday at 6 p.m. Mountain Time on July 1st. I just wasn't feeling well the past few days, and so I had to move it. I tried to email everyone who had purchased it and let you all know, and I did mention it at the bottom of a post on social media, but I did just want to mention it here and to thank you all so much for being patient with me. I am thinking maybe in the next few weeks about getting rid of my monthly webinars and really just doing all the general astrology for free, like weekly horoscopes for free. I already do those for free, my dailies for free, doing free stuff for the new and full moons, and just free stuff on like special events on the month, and then that will take the pressure off me for it to be perfect and just right, and then I'll spend more of my focus and attention on doing readings, on offering webinars that can teach you all how to do astrology, special topics, things like that, mostly teaching webinars again, and so that I can really focus on building up my own subscription service where I can do more news and politics. So I think that's what I'm thinking. This might be the last webinar in that sense that I do offer. I'm not entirely sure, but just keep an update, just to give you an update on that. I may also need, especially because I haven't been feeling well lately, to scale back some of the stuff that I do just for the time being as I figure some of that stuff out. So, you know, I'm not quite sure what is going on with my health exactly. That's been, you know, I know I always talk a lot about my Saturn and Sagittarius story being about me starting my new business, doing like astrology and the way that I've been doing it with my channel, but equal parts my Saturn and Sagittarius story has also been really about two other things. If you want to think of Sagittarius as doing something new, it's been in my 6th house. I've had a lot of new health things that have come up, which I think are related to my job, since the 6th house rules your job as well as your health. New haven't been that great, but new health situations. I'm gonna look at a new doctor, a naturopathic doctor that I decided on seeing when the moon was last in Sagittarius, which is new for me, even though maybe it's not new in like the big sense that everyone thinks of. Maybe when I talk about doing something new. And then a lot of Saturn and Sagittarius for me too has been adjusting my belief systems to see myself differently, especially at my Saturn return, to see myself more as an adult, an individual who can make my own decisions instead of waiting for everyone else in order to do things. So that's been a lot of what it's been about, and I'm just trying to figure that out. I haven't been feeling well. I'm not sure if it's health related or if it's psychological, depression related. I just know that it's like every few weeks now, I always get to feel this way where I get horrible headaches, possibly migraines that literally last for days, and I get so exhausted I can hardly get out of bed, and I just get really sad. And my stomach gets a little bit upset, and so it's just like I really don't know what it is, and I've gone to a lot of doctors who check me out, who tell me I'm fine. So hopefully the naturopathic doctor can help me out. I'm also thinking of moving. I wasn't really planning on moving until next June, when I thought my lease was gonna end, even though I signed a shorter lease since then, which isn't a surprise. Like, I always move, you know, like I move every year, like regardless of what the astrology is doing, regardless of whether or not there's a planet in Sagittarius. I have a 4th house Pluto, I have a 9th house Mars, so whenever any planet hits those, I always think about moving or doing something different. So that's not unusual for me, but I was thinking about moving next June, but I just feel like with all of these health things, with like, whether it's, I don't know whether or not it's physical or whether or not it's psychological, but I just feel like a move would do me some good, and that maybe I should move a little bit sooner rather than later, just to try all my options and to see what will work and what won't work. So I may also be moving in the next few months as well, which may take some of my time. away from doing some of the other stuff as well, as I kind of just get all that stuff together. I'm not quite sure where I'm moving to. I just feel like I really need to, because I feel like really caged in this apartment. It's been so good to me, but I like have no space to do anything. It's like a total mess. And when I first moved to Salt Lake and got this apartment, I was spotless. Like, I was super clean. I like everything was perfect, and it's like now nothing is. And so I need to move somewhere new for sure, to get a bigger apartment. I was gonna move to another place in Salt Lake because I love Salt Lake. I know a lot of you think it's weird that I like it here, but I do love Utah. It's so beautiful. And I was gonna move there, but I don't know, there's just part of me that's feeling like maybe now is just not the time for me to be here. And so much has happened. I was writing down the doctor when I was like filling out some paperwork to go to the naturopathic doctor. They were asking me some questions about like, what are the past like 3 significant things that have happened in your life that you think still affect you today? And I was like writing all the stuff down, and I was like, wow, like a lot of stuff has happened to me since I've been here that have just been a lot for me. So I feel like it may help for me to move somewhere else. So I'm trying to figure that out, and of course that is a very hard decision for me to make, because that's going to be a big move if I were to move to another state. My family wants me to move home. I don't really want to move home, not that I don't love them, but I do have a 4th house Pluto. I've already lived there. I didn't really feel like I fit in that well with the people there, with groups of friends. So I was like, I kind of just want to try my luck elsewhere. But I know that if I am to go elsewhere, that it might upset my family, which I don't want to do. And of course, I've never lived there, so I don't know whether or not it would work. So I'm trying to figure some of that stuff out. Yeah, so we'll see. So I may be doing that in the next few months as well, just trying to move. But that's what's going on with me. Now for your horoscope. What we've got today is the moon hanging out here in Aquarius. When the moon's in Aquarius, it brings our attention a lot to the future. Where's our life going? What would inspire us the most? What are our goals and dreams for the future? You know, if you can envision your life for it to be anything, what would it be? A lot of people have asked me that lately, knowing that there's just been a lot of things that have been going on with me. So I'm not repeating that just because it's what's going on in my life. I'm repeating that because that is literally what Aquarius does. The big picture, what is your future going to be like? I think that's what we're thinking about. Also as well with Aquarius, it rules your friends, who you associate with. Maybe also trying to be out and about to socialize, or to figure out where it is that you fit in. So that's what's going on with the moon in Aquarius. Now at 2 a.m. Mountain Time, so very early this morning, this moon in Aquarius will make a square to Jupiter in Scorpio. And what this could say is that in order for you to reach some goals and dreams for your future, in order for you to socialize with the right people, or to lighten up, to have fun, to be able to socialize more, you may again have to make some big change. You may have to end or begin something in Scorpio, the sign of changing, ending, and beginning, in order to have a future that you really like, in order to see a better future for yourself, reaching goals and dreams that more resonate with you, that you feel inspired about, and working with better people, okay, that work better for you. Also with Jupiter here in Scorpio, it may also require you to get really honest with yourself, to figure out deep down, what is it that you truly desire? You know, not just where do you see your life going in the mind, but emotionally, like what do you want? How can you connect with your dream, with your vision of the future, and really truly feel it and believe in it with Jupiter involved, so that you can move forward? And I think that's what we're trying to figure out early this morning, is what do I need to change in my life in order to see a better future for myself, in order to lighten up, have fun, socialize more? And what do I really want? And how can I go about getting that thing that I want so that I can move forward? All right, so that's what's happening there, and that's actually going to last most of the day, because the next aspect that the moon makes won't be till the nighttime at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. And at 4 p.m. that's when the moon is going to move further through Aquarius and oppose Venus. And what we have is Venus here in Leo. And Venus in Leo wants to do things that make you happy, wants to engage. I like to think of Venus and Leo as living in the present. And not just Venus and Leo, but I like to think of Leo as like, gotta live with me in the present, and Aquarius to me is the future. It takes you out of the present and it puts you in another time and another place. And I think there's that thing that we have to balance here at 4 p.m. as we're trying to figure out where we see our life going, envisioning our life differently, hopefully in a way that really resonates with us, maybe making some changes to where we thought our life was going so that we could feel better. And I think it's hard because Venus and Leo right now is like, well, I'm going to live in the present. I don't want to live in the future. You know, there are some things here that I may realize that I need for my life, but how can I do it right now? How can I work towards it at this moment in the present? That could be a little bit frustrating. You know, how do I be happy right now when there's a future that I see for myself, but it's the future? You know, and it's just balancing, like, okay, you see this thing for your life. This is what you really want. Well, how can I do it right now? And what do I need to do? And how can I balance my long-term plans with my short-term plans in a way that really, really works? And how can I make sure that I'm not just like reaching some vision of my future and changing my future, but how can I make sure it's really what makes me happy? It's really what I enjoy. You know, it'll really help me have the relationships in Venus relationships that I want. It will help me feel as comfortable Venus as I want. It'll help me make money, have the right money in the way that I want and need as well. And I think we're just trying to figure that out. Okay, this is where I see my life going. You know, or maybe I need to change some things about my life in order to see a better future. But now how do I do it short term? And now how do I let my relationships know with all this other stuff going on? How do I feel comfortable when there's big picture stuff I'm trying to work out? How do I organize my finances as other things are coming up? Okay, that could be a little bit difficult here, and maybe needing to make a bunch of little choices today about what you want, what you see, and how you can start to act on that today in a way that feels comfortable. And it may not all happen today, it may not all happen as once, but I do think the moon here is triggering you to get a better understanding of what you need in life and to figure out more and more how you can start to work towards that in a way that makes you happy and that you really enjoy. All right, so that's what is going on today. Right, now other things that are going on in the background, we do have the sun in Cancer and in opposition with Saturn, even though it's moving a little further away from that. So what that could definitely bring up are choices about where your life is going with Saturn and Capricorn, and what it is that you need to feel emotionally happy, comfortable, secure, safe in life. All right, with the solar eclipse about to be here in Cancer, I definitely think the choice should definitely be around your own emotional well-being, your own emotional personal security. You know, we may have to sacrifice some things in our career, some things in our reputation, some life direction that we thought we were going in so that we can do more of what our heart wants, what our emotions are calling us to do at this time, even if it means sacrificing some of our social standing in the process, even if it means taking a break from some of our public needs to focus on some of our personal needs, with Cancer here ruling the lowest part of the chart. Okay. Also, the sun here is going to trine Jupiter soon too, saying once you make these choices or once you make these compromises between what your career needs and what you need personally, or what the big questions about your life are and what your heart is really telling you, once you make those choices, I think it will be easier for you to change your life for the better, to feel better about your life with the trine to Jupiter, to understand better what it is you truly want and desire. But it's almost like you have to make the choices first about what you need emotionally inside before you can get the understanding of why what happened needed to happen and why it needed to happen in that way, and what you're really feeling and what's really going on. While that's happening, we also do have Mercury coming closer and closer to the North Node. I do like this. I think what it's going to do is help you to think more about what you need in a positive way. I typically like the North Node to think more about what you need to be happy, about what you need for the future. To think, maybe not even about the future, since I just talked about Leo being the present, but I think Mercury in the North Node is going to help you here to understand logically what your heart already knows. Maybe that's what I'm trying to get at, because Venus was already here on the North Node earlier. So I think Mercury is coming through saying, okay, my heart told me a few weeks ago that this is what I wanted and needed to feel comfortable in life, you know, maybe to work better with relationships. And now Mercury is saying, okay, now how can you understand it mentally? How can you think about it in the right ways? How can you communicate about what your heart knows? How can you put it into words? Mercury as well, also being the ruler of Virgo, in addition to Gemini, saying, okay, if this is what your heart wants, how can you start to strategize, to plan in a more practical kind of way to move forward on the things that you know your heart is telling you? Being a really big thing. All right, well, you do have to keep in mind though that even though Mercury is coming on the North Node, which I do like, which I do think is favorable, that it is also just coming off of a square to Uranus and a trine to Chiron. So even though you are starting to get a more clear understanding logically of what your heart wants and needs, to be comfortable of what direction you're being called in, again, it could be a little bit unexpected. It could shock you, some of the things you think, realize, or talk about. It possibly also could shock other people with the square to Uranus. It could shock your finances with Uranus being in Taurus, your sense of stability as well, or your confidence. And again, with the trine to Chiron, it may not feel the most comfortable also, because it may then require you to think of your identity differently or to act in ways differently than what you have done recently. All right, so just keep that in mind, that even though you're logically understanding things, what your heart wants, there may also be some difficult conversations that need to be had in the process about what really is going on with you and what you want and need. Okay, and having to balance what will make you happy, again with Mercury about to come into an opposition with Mars, having to balance what will make you happy, of course, with the future, and really having to figure out how you can work towards what you want eventually right now, and how you can do the things right now that will get you to where you want and need to be. All right, we also do have Saturn. This is going to take a little bit longer. I want to say another month or two, but I figured I would go ahead and mention it. We also do have Saturn coming into a trine with Uranus as well. And what that could bring is either some unexpected commitments that could occur within the next few weeks and months. They're what? How many degrees? They're like 3 degrees off. Or it could also bring you wanting to break free from a commitment, wanting to break free from an old life direction that is not serving you, from an old career, so that you can do something that you feel is more authentic to you. Hopefully make money in better ways, use more of your skills, gifts, and talents, and to feel more confident. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Either some unexpected commitments come up about where your life is going, or you break free from an old commitment in order to feel better. And with Saturn making a square to Chiron about the same time, it could not feel that comfortable. Again, for you, maybe you have to make some sacrifices in regards to some things that were important for you, or were important to you in the past, so that you can break free to do something else that's different, that you feel resonates with you more. That's going to be more of a long-term theme. Okay, so we have that going on. Now your card for the day is the 10 of Swords reversed. So the 10 of Swords upright to me is always the kind of about an ending in some way. Something in your life is done, it's over. And the reverse card is saying time to let it go. Either you are letting it go, or maybe you're struggling to let it go in some way. And I think really just needing to say, look, especially now with Mars going retrograde in Aquarius, the thinking about the future, you know, it's like the old life is over. You know, you got to clean all that out, and now that a lot of that should be cleaned out, or now that you're dealing with a lot of that stuff, time to envision a new life, a new future, time to envision different possibilities for your future, doing different things than you have recently, so that you can move on, or to think about your future in different ways that are hopefully, with Uranus involved now, more freeing, more liberating than before. Does it mean turning everything upside down? No. I get a few people who comment on my videos that are like, I'm retired, you know, I don't want to do anything new or different. Well, I'm like, it doesn't have to be a big thing. Like, it could be a new daily routine, going to the park in the morning instead of at night, or, you know, going to a group in your community that does painting once a week. You know, maybe that's something different than you've had to do before. And why does learning have to stop when you're older? You know, why do you have to stop having fun when you get older? So it could just be little things like that, like time to think about your life in totally different ways than you have before, to believe about yourself and who you are differently. And I think this card is saying the old life, especially the more and more Mars goes retrograde, we're cleaning out. It's no longer there. It no longer exists. The life we used to live. And it's time to go in different directions, see yourself differently. Okay, it's not always a great time to do new things. You know, it's just with Saturn being in Sagittarius for the past few years, we're trying to clear out, you know, we're trying to finally get rid of this Saturn and Sagittarius stuff, doing something new, finding more of the excitement and adventure in your life has had a moment that it only has once in every 29 years. You know, so it's not always such a good time to do something new, to adventure, to let go of an old life. It just so happens that we're literally in a once in every 29-year phase where it's been all about trying to find more of the excitement in your life, taking one more go around. That's what Jupiter does. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. It expands things. It opens up your mind to different possibilities. Yeah. You know, and that's why Jupiter is lucky. That's why Sagittarius is considered a lucky sign. Like, to be honest with you, I don't think Jupiter and Sagittarius is being inherently lucky. Like, they're not. They're like, I don't know. I mean, I think sometimes like lucky things do just happen. But to me, luck is a lot like you make it lucky. You know, my dad had, he's no longer alive, but he had a Sagittarius moon. And every day before I would go to school, we'd always say goodbye, and I would be like, bye Dad, and I'd be like, have a good day, and my dad would stop me and he'd be like, no, he's like, you don't have a good day. He's like, you make it a good day. If your life is bad, if your day is bad, do something to make it good. Change your perspective, do something else. That was like his really big theme, you know. And I think that that's a lot of what makes Sagittarius. I know I didn't talk about Sagittarius, but with Jupiter being there, or sorry, with Jupiter about to be there in the next few months, and with Saturn having just spent 3 years there, with the moon just being in Sagittarius before the full moon, I figured I would go there. What makes to me Jupiter and Sagittarius so lucky is exactly that. Like, if something in their life is not working, or if there's something in their life that is dull or boring, or that served its purpose, like Jupiter and Sagittarius will say, well, what do I need to learn to make this the best outcome? What do I need to do differently to make this the best outcome? Who do I need to connect with that I'm not already that can help me? Where do I need to travel to live so that I can feel better? How do I need to adjust my belief system so that I can break out of this rut, so that I can do something else? Like, that to me is what Jupiter and Sagittarius does. It says no matter how bad the situation is, I'm going to make it good because I'm going to learn from it. And I'm going to find the one option that no one else could find that I found. And I'm going to use it. And I'm going to make it the best that I can be. It's like the Sagittarius mindset is that nothing's ever bad. Nothing's ever bad because there's always something to learn. There's always something to learn from it to make it better. There's always another option behind door like Z, you know, check all the doors. There's always one more option. There's always one more thing to learn that can unlock the door to everything else. And so, you know, maybe that's just what I want to leave with you is like, gotta start envisioning, especially with Mars too in Aquarius, a different future for your life, to see things differently, to see yourself who you thought you were in different ways. Okay, I'm gonna let go of all the stuff that wasn't working for you. All right. So that's what I've got there. And you know, it's like, I don't want you all to think that I'm giving you the advice with the astrology that corresponds to my life, but I do try to live by the astrology, live in accordance with the astrology. I hope I do it intentionally, and I hope I do it naturally, you know. And it's like, where does my life end and where does my art begin? Okay, we ask an artist, when you painted a picture, well, what part was just in like blind inspiration and what part was a reflection of your life? You know, it's really hard to separate the two, you know, a lot of times. And so it's like, and I get that every once in a while people will ask me, well, you know, do you base it on your own life? Do you not? And it's like, I don't do it purposely, but I think about the astrology a lot. I apply it to my life a lot. You know, I mean, it's bound to all come out in the wash together. Doesn't mean that I don't try to keep myself out of it. You know, and I'm like, watch, you know, all of a sudden the moon's gonna be, we're gonna have a bunch of planets in Cancer, we're gonna have a solar eclipses there the next 2.5 years. I'll be like moving, building a new home, maybe like getting married, and everyone will be like, oh, she's just interpreting the astrology based on her life. And I'll be like, well, like, I tell you how I interpret these things. The North Node will be in Cancer. Like, the next 1.5 years of your life will definitely be all about building a home. Perhaps a new one, since Saturn's just left Sagittarius, a new foundation on your life, whether it's home related or not, new emotional situations. So, I don't know. you know. That's what's going on there. I just thought I would share. I know this video is going to be pretty long, but I'm just kind of feeling it. Thank you all for hanging in there with me through all of this. I'm trying to get better. I'm just trying to figure out what it is that I need, because I think that's another, like, I feel like I really haven't been doing my best, you know. I'm not the kind of person that normally like avoids answering emails, that takes weeks to respond to people, that can't get out of bed in the mornings, that cancels a lot of things, you know. So I'm just like, what do I need in order to not be this way? Because this is all you all really know of me, you know, is like, you all only know of me from like this short period of time that you've seen me do my videos, which is like the past year. You know, you all don't really know me before that, which in some ways can be very good, you know, but this has just been a very rare time of my life where I've been very emotional. I've been doing a lot of things that are very different, and so it's just very hard, and I'm just trying to figure out how can I not be that way, stick more to my word, you know, and to give you all better customer service. And it's just taken a lot longer than I would thought I would like, and I'm just hoping I can fix it sooner rather than later so that I don't alienate you all. Okay, but that's what I'll leave you with. If y'all are interested in the webinar for July, I'm going to do it today, 6 p.m. Link down below in my description box. You can find me there. I hope you all have a good day. Excuse me, I think I've also got allergies and sinuses too, because I get like weird coughs for like the past few months as well. But I hope you all have a good day, and I'll talk to you later.